Hello and welcome back to Crypto Saving Experts, where we talk about the latest cryptocurrency news and take a look at the markets so that we all know exactly what is happening. My name is Jess. It is a Friday, so we need to be taking a look at what's going on with the price of Bitcoin, what's going on in the cryptocurrency news. Make sure to stay tuned until the very end, where we will be analyzing Bitcoin. But first of all, let's take a look at what's going on in the markets here. We've got Bitcoin down slightly once again to 1.4% move to the downside at $34,100. And we've also got a nice weekly move to the upside, though. Overall, in the last week, Bitcoin has moved up 14.5%. So we really can't be complaining at this point in time. Let's take a look at the biggest losers in the last 24 hours here. We've got Miner up 11.26%, Bitcoin SV, Binary X, and Lido down all around 7 or 8% there. And we have some bigger gainers of the day. We're looking at Neo up almost 11%, Flow up 2%, and then the others are pretty average moves, to be honest. Throughout the markets, you can see here within the last week, it's been incredibly green. Within the last 24 hours, not so much, but that's pretty normal. Bitcoin is on the verge of something, and we don't know what it is yet. We know, obviously, we are waiting to see what's happening with spot Bitcoin ETFs. We've got news here on TradingView. I've never seen this before. Arthur Hayes wants it's time to bet on Bitcoin amid financial crisis 26 minutes ago today. That's the first time I've seen that on TradingView. Let's take a look at this. Bitcoin is currently trading at $34,100. We are waiting to see if we get any news on spot Bitcoin ETFs. We do obviously have the third deadline for the applications from BlackRock, Fidelity, and many other companies in January the 15th. So we could be waiting for a very long time here. And the final deadline isn't actually until March. Now, a lot of people are speculating we'll get the acceptance of these ETFs sooner rather than later. And that would be brilliant for the markets. We would all love to see that. But we need to be very cautious at these prices that we don't have any reason as to why we would see a response right now other than the SEC just trying to bite the bullet and get this thing done. We obviously have seen Grayscale win their lawsuit against the SEC. We saw 45 days pass. The SEC did not appeal that. The courts have now told the SEC they need to re-review Grayscale's application. I can't find anywhere online a deadline for that re-review. It would be great to have some deadlines put in place with the SEC for that. The only reason as to why I would see BlackRock, Fidelity, and VanEck and all of the other applications being accepted before January is if they need to accept Grayscale's before January. I see a situation as to where BlackRock will be in the first ETFs that launch into the markets. I see that pretty clearly. Obviously, this is all speculation, but that's what I'm expecting. BlackRock and other major corporations in the US, I imagine, will have the first piece of the pie when it comes to spot Bitcoin ETFs. So if the SEC cannot find any other reason to reject Grayscale's application once again, then we will be seeing some big changes in this space as we see a flood of ETFs hitting the markets. And that is the Grayscale application, and the re-review of the application is the reason as to why we could be expecting to see the acceptance of these ETFs a lot sooner than we were initially expecting. Let's move on though through the cryptocurrency news today. We've got no major news on the spot Bitcoin ETFs today, so I just wanted to do that quick recap. Big changes are coming. It's just a matter of when, not if. In terms of likes, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification button so you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. I've got my iced coffee in my Crypto Saving Expert thermal mug today. If you have not already, make sure to go over to the Crypto Saving Expert merch store. Check it out here. Let me have a drink of my coffee while we're here. So on the merch store, you can purchase one of these, which I've actually just lit, a wax melter with a Bitcoin wax at the top. My Bitcoin wax is now melted, but you can get Bitcoin wax melts, so they look like a Bitcoin. They have a huge amount of detail on them. If that focuses, that would be really good. You see how much detail are on them, and they smell really nice as well. So I get the scent Chad, but there are different scents there, and you can select that upon checkout. We've got huge deals on the merch store at the moment as well. See here, you can save £10.50 on this. Used to be £30, now just $19.99. I feel like one of those sales TV channels. What else have we got in here? We've got The thermal mugs, as I say every single time, I use this every single day, and it's only £15. I have my iced coffee in here every single morning, no matter the weather. Let's see what's going on in the cryptocurrency news, though. First of all, I want to talk about the Fear and Greed Index once again. We are up all the way at 70. If we take a look at the past year, 70 is one of the highest levels of greed we've seen in the markets in the last year. Prior to this, the highest was actually, let's get this right, 69. And we have seen Fear and Greed move all the way up to 72 within the last week. In terms of the entire cryptocurrency markets, the last time we were up at these levels was back in November 2021. So almost 2 years ago now, and this greed in the markets does signify that we are much higher, and that gives me a little bit of fear, because as I always say, when the markets are fearful, I feel greedy, and when the markets are greedy, I feel fearful. Right now, there's so much greed in the markets because so many of us are trying to front run that spot Bitcoin ETF application. Thankfully, we've been here in the markets for a long time, doing these live streams every single day, informing you about the excitement that is to come with the spot Bitcoin ETFs. As soon as that application was made, we've spoke about the importance of these ETFs and how much they can change the cryptocurrency space, how much they can push the price of Bitcoin to the upside. So we've been dollar cost averaging in here for a very long time now because we knew the potential of this, but without having to see a clear example of it when Cointelegraph falsely reported that they'd been accepted. And a lot of people needed to see that false run to get the excitement that we've had here. So every single day we're here talking about the changes it can make, and then 2 weeks ago, Cointelegraph falsely reported that BlackRock's spot Bitcoin ETF had been accepted. Bitcoin rallied up to $30,000, and a lot of people realized, oh wait, this is something I should have been looking at after all. But had they just been watching this channel, they would have known the importance already, and they may have been able to get a better price on their Bitcoin. So make sure, if you are new here, to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification button. We do these live streams every single weekday. We've got major news here today talking about Binance and Tether. So let's discuss that quickly. US Senator has asked the Department of Justice to criminally charge Binance and Tether. So let's read through this letter that they've sent to the Department of Justice here. Really quickly, it's only a 2-page letter, but it's full of information that we need to unpack here. So we write to you in light of shocking reports that unregulated centralized crypto asset intermediaries based outside the US have facilitated significant illicit finance activity over the last 2 years, including providing significant terrorism financing for Hamas attack on Israel. Based on this alarming information and the horrifying unjustified attack on Israel, we urge you and the DOJ to reach a charging decision on Binance that reflects their level of culpability and expeditiously conclude your investigations into the ongoing illicit activities involving Tether. Let's see what's going on here. James says, what did you say since 1 minute 30? We've just been speaking about the spot Bitcoin ETFs, the importance they have, the effect it's had on the markets. Make sure to rewind at the end of today's stream, James. Thank you very much for tuning in, as always. Right now, we are looking at this letter, which has been sent from one of the senators to the Department of Justice, asking to criminally charge Binance and Tether. Essentially, they are getting accused of significant illicit financial activity involving Hamas, involving the attack on Israel. Lots of allegations within this article. We can see here, Binance notably is an unregulated crypto asset exchange based in the Seychelles and Cayman Islands. Binance has historically been linked to illicit activity and is perpetually the subject of a current Department of Justice investigation. So lots of allegations within this article, and it's pretty interesting to see here. Let's take a look at the comments to this tweet and see what's said here. Let's look at the full story first. So US lawmakers seek criminal charges against Binance and Tether. US lawmakers have called on the DOJ to investigate and issue criminal charges against Binance and Tether regarding their potential role in illicit financial activities. There, they asked the department to carefully evaluate the extent to which Binance and Tether are providing material support and resources to support terrorism through violations of applicable sanctions laws and the Bank Secrecy Act. So when it comes to illicit finance, crypto is not the enemy, bad actors are. Now, I would like to point out here, that we may see a lot of FUD around Binance, we may see a lot of FUD around many centralized exchanges, and this is always the kind of, this is a very sidetrack point here, this is always the kind of news that makes it into mainstream media, and I have to highlight to everybody that is not in cryptocurrency is completely different from centralized exchanges, and there's a real key important piece of information in there, because a lot of people get that crossover confused and just think cryptocurrency is this huge awful thing. So let's take a look at this. DOJ called to issue charges against Binance and Tether. So US lawmakers have called on the DOJ to issue criminal charges against both companies. Significantly, they have called for an investigation into the extent in which both have supported terrorist activities. Moreover, lawmakers wrote their support for swift action by the DOJ against Binance and Tether to choke off sources of funding to the terrorists currently targeting Israel. So big news here, big accusations, and it will be really interesting to see if the Department of Justice acts on this or if this is something the market is going to ignore. In terms of pricing of Bitcoin, it was pretty well ignored in the last when did this news come out? We were talking about this yesterday evening. The breaking news article was at 6:23 p.m. yesterday. If we take a look at the smaller time frames here, 6:23 p.m. yesterday, really no significant movements here. I think a lot of people that are in the markets right now are pretty used to having some Binance FUD in the markets here. Clearly, the markets aren't reacting bad to this at this point in time. Not expecting anything to come to fruition here. Just another thing to add to the pile of Binance FUD. But we will see if there is some truth behind it. I'm sure a lot of people will change exchanges and have very strong opinions on that. Let's take a look at this article here. I've never seen the news pop up at TradingView before. Bitcoin restarting 2023 uptrend after 26% October Bitcoin price gains, says research. Now let's take a look at this. Let's go to the monthly gains for Bitcoin and see what is going on here. It's pretty nice to see that we obviously have had a nice move to the upside. Let's pull this in. What we've got here is monthly returns for Bitcoin. October, pretty bullish. It has been in history, and it has so far been bullish this month as well. November is a bit of a varied month. Hopefully we see a nice move to the upside for November as well. People are speculating now that the bull market is back and we could be looking at higher prices in the near future. It does match in line perfectly with those spot Bitcoin for the Bitcoin halving, which is in April 2024. We obviously have those spot Bitcoin ETFs with a deadline of March 2024. So things are lining up nicely to suggest we could be seeing a Bitcoin bull market. I definitely think so. But I don't like to push these opinions on you. Obviously, we've got all this new regulation here. Nothing is financial advice. My opinions are my opinions. You should do your own research. But right now, things are lining up nicely. The stars are aligning. And that's all we can say here. Let's take a look at the cryptocurrency news and see what's going on here. SBF is on trial. He has been for the last 5 or so weeks. And he's stood in court. And it's been labelled as a disaster. Let's see the key points of what he has said within the last 24 hours. First of all, he has said he is not sure who decided to send stolen FTX customer funds to Alameda Research. And he's also said he believed it was legal to take FTX customer funds through Alameda Research. So 2 pretty bold statements. Obviously, we all know he's not stupid. He's saying anything his lawyers will say to get out of this, all of these allegations. Essentially, it's pretty clear from that he's being used as a puppet at this point in time, in my opinion. We can take a look at this. SBF's testimony in court on Thursday appears to have been an event drastically outside the realms of standard court procedure. The day began with Judge Kaplan sending the jury home in what was reported to be an act to avoid SBF tailoring his testimony to how he wanted to play out, not in the usual court fashion. An ex-account by the name Austin Capital gave updates on the day SBF took the stand and explained why Kaplan sent the jury home. So we've had car crash answers from SBF in court. SBF thought it was legal to use customer funds, and he's also said he doesn't know whose idea it was to do that. So pretty basic answers there from SBF. I'll drop the link to this in today's chat. Let's see what else is going on in today's news here. Elliptic says no evidence that Hamas has received millions of crypto donations. So the amount raised by Hamas through crypto is tiny compared to other funding sources. As usual, we do see cryptocurrency being labeled as a way to launder money or fund terrorist attacks. We've seen this over and over again. In the news right now, we are seeing that there's no evidence to suggest that Hamas have received millions in cryptocurrency. We do have transparency on the blockchain. We are trying to prove that cryptocurrency isn't this big demon that it's built out to be, and we have the transparency to help us determine that, so we can see the different evidence that we've got there. Let's continue on to the next article here. UK approves the Economic Crime and Corporate Transparency Bill. So the UK has reached a significant milestone in its ongoing efforts to regulate the crypto landscape with the successful passage of the Economic Crime and Corporate Transparency Bill. So the UK has brought in a huge amount of cryptocurrency regulation within the last month. 7th, 8th of October, new regulation came in that was very strict on the advertisement of cryptocurrency. There's now a cool-off period in the UK, so if you sign up to a centralized exchange, you have to wait 24 hours before you can purchase any cryptocurrency on that exchange, just to make sure that users are buying cryptocurrency without making a rash decision, to make sure users are thinking through what they want to do with their money before they buy a huge amount of cryptocurrency. These regulations aren't something I necessarily agree with, but nevertheless, they have been put in place. We have now seen within the last couple of days the pass of a bill, which means that cryptocurrency can be confiscated without arrest. So this development presents the latest chapter in the UK's ongoing cryptocurrency regulation campaign. So what we can see here, where's the main points in this? The main point I saw yesterday when I was reading through this was they can seize cryptocurrency without arrest. We are going to continue to see tight regulation of cryptocurrency in the UK. I don't think they're going to stop here. After saying they were going to be a cryptocurrency hotspot just a couple of years ago, the regulation is pretty tight, it's pretty broad, and it's pretty, it just feels like it's a big blanket term thrown on the space. It's not really in depth on certain scenarios. It's very like, we're just going to put it out so you basically can't do anything and hope for the best. It does seem like a problem. I don't agree with a lot of the regulation that has been put in place, but it has been put in place to protect investors. So we've got to deal with it. Like we've got to deal with all of the regulation. Let's see what else is going on here. Justin Sun Group announces Q3 profits of $98 million. So Justin Sun announced the financials of his group for the third quarter of 2023. Justin Sun was the co-founder of HTX, Tron Network, Poloniex, TUSD, and several others. They are companies within the group, so they've had a nice profit there. Obviously, Q3 hasn't been too bad for Bitcoin. If we take a look at the Bitcoin quarterly earnings here, Q3 for 2023, let's get here. We are looking, how have we got Q3 2024 already in place? Is that a prediction? What we've got here is 2013, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Yeah, they've already put 23 in. Let's look at the price of Bitcoin instead. This is a lot clearer. Let's go to the monthly chart here. Let's pull that out. So we are looking, Q3 starts on the 1st of July. So we are looking from July. Here we go, this candle here. Bitcoin started the 1st of July at $24,000. We are now up 11% in Q3 to 11.83%. Obviously, there has been a little bit of a pullback within that period of time, but Q3 is looking pretty good. Let's take a look at what else is going on here in the cryptocurrency news. We've got first ever token deployed on Uniswap. HeyCoin reaches $5.5 million all-time high. So Uniswap founder burned 99.9% of HeyCoin in his wallet, valued at an absurd $650 billion. So what we can see here is a huge amount of tokens being burned, basically being removed from out of circulation. He held 99.9% of the supply, sent them to a wallet which nobody can ever get access to. The remainder was reportedly sent to other members of the Uniswap team for testing purposes, which included SHAP. After the launch of V1, I created a small test liquidity pool with a tiny fraction of the total supply and left the remainder in my wallet. I also used it to test the migration contract from V1 to V2 on 20th of October. He said this, and some traders recently discovered the tiny tradable supply and chose to revive it. We acquired the entire pool and revitalized it by pairing with 1 ETH in Uniswap V3. So Uniswap founder says speculating on HeyCoin is silly. Hayden said he was surprised to see people buying and selling a significant amount of the token as meme coin, he decided to burn the 99.9% of the token supply in his wallet as he was uncomfortable owning almost the entire supply, which soared to the absurd value of $650 billion. To be extremely clear, I will have no future involvement and have burned all the hay in my wallet. I think speculating on it is silly, but nevertheless, the traders like to do this. If there's profit to be made, they will be interested. Let's take a look at the next article here. Before we do, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification button so you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. We do these live streams every single weekday. We've got 2 articles left here, and then we'll take a look at the price of Bitcoin. We've got institutional adoption could push Bitcoin to $125,000 by December 2024, according to Matrix Port. They are reporting that the Bitcoin bull market is officially back. It's officially began back in June 2023. Institutional demand and adoption could propel Bitcoin's value all the way up into the 6 figures by December next year, projecting that we could see a really nice ride in 2023, a year that I'm very much looking forward to in terms of investment. During this bear market, things have got a bit rocky, things have moved to the downside. We've all had poor investments during that period of time, so it's just nice to see us come out the other end and see that our investments, our buying the dip opportunities, have paid off eventually. Let's take a look at what else is going on here. Review of the Keystone 3 Pro, is it worth the upgrade? So Keystone 3 Pro is their brand new device that's just hit the market. You can read a full review here. It is a hardware wallet. You can also get 30% off if you use Crypto Saving Expert at checkout. I think that is on all of their products. Don't quote me on that. I think that is for all of their products though. And if you use the referral link that is in the bottom of this article here, you get some extra discount there as well. So make sure to check that out if you have not already, and there's a full guide of how to unbox that and set that up in that article there as well, so make sure to check that out. We've got one last thing to do today on today's live stream, and it is to analyze the price of Bitcoin. So let's take a look at this. First of all, let's zoom out all the way to the monthly chart. There is a significant level of support, resistance here, and that is at the $34,800 level. Yes, we've touched that. We have not closed a monthly candle above that. We used that as a level of support back in May, June, July last year when we saw that, no, not last year, 2021, when we saw that terrible dip to the downside. I would like to see us close a monthly candle above that, but it does, in my opinion, act as a level of resistance right now. If we reset the price scale there, you can see this is acting as a resistance on the daily chart. We have so far failed to break above that, but hopefully we do. There's a lot of speculation now on the acceptance of spot Bitcoin ETFs. We're not going to go through that again because we've gone through that a lot this week, but we can look for some levels of support to be looking at. First of all, let's zoom all the way out to the daily chart and see what's going on here. We could potentially be looking at a level of previous resistance acting as a level of support here, and that is at the $32,660 level. We also have some horizontal levels that we should be looking at, so let's get the weekly chart up and see what's going on here. As always, I do prefer to trade the bigger time frames. They're just more accurate. We can take a look here and we can see we've got some significant levels, so let's pull these out. Horizontal lines here, I am looking at that $31,800 level. It was used as a level of support 2 times back in the previous bull market, and it has been used as a level of resistance multiple times here in the bull market, the start of the potential bull market, we should say. So that is acting as a previous level of resistance. Hopefully we could get a bounce of that and see it be used as a support. That would be really positive. $32,000 yet may not be what we're all calling for. Maybe we do want higher prices, but bouncing previous levels of resistance and using them as support is a really positive thing for the markets to do, because it means if we do have a turn to the downside, we have some significant levels that we can be watching out for. Let's take a look at what else we've got in here. We're looking at the $36,000 level. This was used as a level of support back in the bull market and in the start of the bear market actually as well. And that $37,734 level. We have closed the CME gap that was up at $35,000. It felt like it was miles away for months and months and months, and then out of nowhere, Bitcoin absolutely rocketed. Now, I would like to say, obviously, we all hope to see some confirmation bounces using levels of resistance as as support, but if we look at the weekly chart during a bull market, we don't always get those opportunities. A pullback is an opportunity to invest when you wish that you had more, and during the bull market, we don't always get that opportunity. This is from that thing that happened in 2020, which I have learned you should not be saying on the live streams, the 19. That's what happened there. We all know what happened there. And from then, we didn't really get many other opportunities to buy the dip in that bull market. We're looking at this point here, that was an opportunity. This point here was a slight opportunity. Again here, now where's my pen gone? Again here and again here. But there were few opportunities to do that. Now, obviously, I don't want to create FOMO in the markets. We do get opportunities from there every now and then. I like to take full advantage of them. We've had a huge opportunity, obviously, in the bear market. But if you are somebody that has been out of crypto for a long time and looking to get back into it again, things are looking pretty interesting right now. We are preparing for the spot Bitcoin ETFs. We are, the majority of us are anticipating that we will see the acceptance of these ETFs, but that is not set in stone. And that is a really important factor that we need to be aware of. So we'll wait to see what news comes out of the SEC. Hopefully we hear a answer from the re-review of the spot Bitcoin ETFs and the Grayscale application within the next couple of weeks. We have heard from Gary Gensler within the last 24 hours, where he said the SEC has 8 to 10 filings on Bitcoin ETFs in front of the commission. Now, I didn't really know why he said that. I don't really know why that was reported. We all already knew that already, but it creates some excitement in the markets. It just tends, when there's a little bit of news pointing that there's discussion about it and there's active research going on about it, people get excited again. So we're staying tuned on that. We'll see what happens there. On the daily chart, we have seen a little bit of a retracement yesterday. In terms of the 1 hour chart, we can zoom all in and take a look at what's going on here. We have a level of support that's acting right across here. We did use it as a level of resistance on our way up on the 23rd. We are now using it as a level of support on the hourly chart. We also have that level of resistance there at $34,800. So this is the range that we are currently trading in. We could continue to trade in this over the weekend. That is the best scenario in my opinion. What we tend to see over the weekend, if we see a huge move to the upside over the weekend, we've got a CME gap then that we need to be watching out for. But if we see a move to the downside, hopefully that CME gap can pull it back. But the most likely scenario, the most favorable scenario is we just see sideways action. We just continue within this range over the weekend, and then next week the favorable scenario will be a spot Bitcoin ETF. The least favorable option would be a rejection of the ETFs, and the most likely scenario is just more anticipation of the possibility of an ETF, in my opinion. But that's what's happening right now. Things are heating up. Things are getting excited. People are entering the cryptocurrency space once again, and that is exactly what we want to be seeing here. But that is all we have for today, so thank you very much for tuning in. As always, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification button, and we will be back on Monday with more cryptocurrency news. Thank you very much for watching.